Good after morning, good morn-ish, whichever way you float your boat. Welcome into twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. My name is Graham Day, and I'm joined by Bibby. Alright! Welcome.
Good morning.
Welcome into twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. If you don't know who we are, as mentioned, my name is Graham Day. This is Bibby. We are Ice Cream Uploads, and in true ice creamy fashion, this is the scoop. Let me just jump over to Bibby's bedroom, where Bibby is currently sat. Nice decorations in that room there, Bib. How are we doing?
Did I not put a background on, Graham? I could have sworn that I'd put a background on.
Not today, no. Why do you think it took me so long when you joined the call? Why do you think I was silent for ages? Because I was putting the background in place.
You know what, Graham? I actually thought that you were sending an email.
I mean, I did do a little bit of that, but I finished that and then I just kept reading it out as if I was. It looks so good.
It does look fucking good, to be fair. It does look very good. You've got me there.
Oh.
You've got me. You've done me dirty.
So yeah, if anyone just wants to grab a screenshot of this, get this out on the Twitters and everything, let everyone know. That would be very, very much appreciated. Nice. Although, I must admit, I have let myself down a little bit because I've just realised that I've booked off this screen, and obviously the reverse of this screen, nice, but the actual split screen that we use for most of the broadcast, I haven't done it there, so he's just sat. I mean, I might leave it there, spare him his blushes for that bit, you know, I might not.
Look like I'm in a dark room.
Fine, go on then. If you want the United image in there, just say so, babe. Okay, image. I'll probably break the stream doing this. If I do this, it's fine. Add existing. United bedroom. Okay. Move down. Move a little bit further.
You know what? I'm just going to leave this here for the bants because I could have just quite easily broke this and gone over there and put a background on. But you know, for Graham, for the bants, I've got that in me. I'll sit in front of United back. I mean, to be fair, United need all the fans they can have these days. So one more won't hurt, I suppose, for today.
Sorry, to be fair, this is not the first time this has happened as well. So for those of you who know Shogun Ash Live, let me just do exclamation mark show. Does that not work? No? Okay, never mind. Exclamation mark Shogun.
Am I in shot?
Am I in shot? Well, Shaw has had this before. Shaw guested on the scoop about a year ago and came on with a green screen background. So I put him in a United bedroom as well. So Bibby at least has upgraded to... Bibby's got like a nice executive office sort of like setup going on. Mark Goldbridge wishes he was sat where Bibby is sat right now. That's all we're saying. That's all we're saying. Anyway, welcome into the stream. How are you doing? If you want to know what this show is, well, do you know what? The first couple of minutes have probably given you everything that you need to know about what we do, what this is, and what kind of content we stand for. Welcome into Twitch. Bib.
Hey, mate. Hey, mate. Mics sound good, don't they?
Sounds crisp. Where do we get to? Anyway, welcome in. My name is Graham. This... even though he doesn't want to be sat there, is Bib. We are Ice Cream Uploads, and in true ice creamy fashion, this is The Scoop, the UK's #1 video game podcast, if we do say so ourselves. We go live on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads each and every single weekday at 10 a.m.-ish, bringing you the biggest, the best, and the breaking stories from the world of video games. We will then give you our thoughts and impressions on those stories, but we want to hear your thoughts and impressions. We also want to hear your thoughts and impressions on our thoughts and impressions, and it's important that you do get involved because we might be live on Twitch, but we also turn the live stream into a podcast, a video on YouTube, and an audio podcast on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, and Google Play. There is lots of places where over 130,000 people have watched and listened to this show on demand, so we need you to be their voice. Yeah. Before we do get into things, I want to point out exclamation mark City in the chat. Bibby is not a United fan. He's been held there against his will. We apologise for absolutely nothing. Also, we also want to point out exclamation mark giveaway. We have a giveaway that ends today. If you want to buy some Insert Coin merch, an Insert Coin jacket, or an Insert Coin t-shirt, do feel free to get involved in our giveaway. You have to go to Twitter, you have to retweet the tweet, and you have to follow us at Insert Coin. That's it. No costs, no subscriptions, none of that stuff. Just a free open giveaway thanks to the beautiful people at Insert Coin. Make sure you get involved with that. As well as that, exclamation mark loot drop. Other giveaways. So we do a giveaway every month. We have confirmed that this month's giveaway is either an ICU Blackout baseball cap or a game of your choice. Standard edition, obviously, none of those 500 quid editions because, you know, god damn, we've got to spend all the money on redecorating Bibby's room once he gets out of that one because it's not going to be in a fit state for anyone else to inhabit after he's finished with it. Let's put it that way. So, yes. Anyway.
I've actually been done today. Like, this is... fantastic banter. I've been done up like a fucking kipper this morning.
If you do want to go and put your background on, I will allow you to go and do that now, by the way.
You know what, Graham? If people feel free to keep on clipping this and putting it on social media, because at the end of the day, it's impressions for us. Do you know what I mean?
See that?
I will keep the banter going for that.
Consummate professional. I mean, absolutely not like me, who's just edited a United background into his setup. But, you know, he's the professional one, so we'll go with that. Nice. Let's go, Bib. Okay, let's catch up. See who is here. James K says, good morning, all. I can actually say morning, as it's just before 12 for a change. That is true. We did go live before 12. We'd have been live.
3 days in a row, that.
I know. Like, and the thing is, we'd have been even earlier as well if I hadn't spent 10 minutes sticking around with that background. But, you know, I think it was worth it. I think we can all agree. So if you wonder why it's 10 a.m.-ish, it's because of shit like that. When we say we work in the video games industry, that's what we mean. Lotus, the Triggermeister, is cleaning his car. Welcome in. Lake says, well. Guess who finally decided to show up? You did, Lake. But we won't hold it against you. You took your time. So yeah, well done. Car? What the fuck is that? It's a bit like a bike, just wider. Lotus says, all black car in the countryside is not a good idea. Yeah, all cleans. That's what it is. Next Gen Base says, let's go. And the deepest voice on Twitch. I can't even do it. What did I do? I was like, hey, my name's Enzo. The thing is, I was like being a dick, full on Graham Day, stupid Egypt moment. Yeah, exactly. And then Enzo came to the stream and then he ended up clipping it and used it for his like best bits of the year recap sort of video. Hey, my name's Enzo and I speak like this. And then I was like, why is my mouth doing this? So anyway, there you go. My mouth. Hey. Nichio. Welcome in. Mr. Jim Butters. Hey, how you doing? Welcome in. Shut it, Nichio, you smelly goth lover. Hey, this is the bit where Bibby realised that everyone realises that Bibby's obviously streaming from home today, not the studio. OMG, fuck's sake, Bibby, you've changed. Glory Seeker, Bibby. That does look so good.
Fucking Glory Seeker. Glory Seeker.
He's a proper fan. He supports through the shit times and everything. I mean, it's quite weird, actually, because if he supported City when they were shit and now they're good, he's jumped over to United. He's just a glutton for punishment.
Listen, I will always have Hyde United as my shit football team. Do you know what I mean? Like, City are doing well now. At one point, Hyde United and City were doing shit. I had no decent football to look forward to. But yeah, you're absolutely right. If I was a Glory Seeker, there is no chance I would be a Man United fan. Your season finished in February, mate. Do you know what I mean?
You fucking wish. I fucking wish. Season started and finished on that one game at the start of the season. Like, oh, that's it. No.
And it's gone.
Screenshot is now naturally in the Discord. Yeah. 10 minutes well spent. Definitely time well spent. Thank you very much. Also, big congrats to Tito. See, Tito, I haven't seen your news firsthand. I have heard it secondhand because I was doing, as you can tell, important things whilst Bibby was telling me that news. So GG's, dude. For those that don't know, ! Discord in the chat. You can join our community Discord. That is where we and the community guys all chat when we're not on stream. And Tito has shared some news. He has been given a pass that means he is now allowed to go into general public once again. It's nice. Couple of naked instances prevented him from doing that, but he is clear to go as long as he keeps his distance from malls and parks and schools and the obvious things like that. But other than that, yeah, it's fine. Actually, adding schools in makes it sound a bit... No, okay. Tito got a promotion thing, I think. I didn't see it, so nice. Let's go, Tito. Let's go. Buy that fucking house, baby. Okay, next. on the agenda is for us to talk about what we are here to talk about. If you are new to this, if you're watching on YouTube, apologies for the rambling, but when we've made Bibby sit in a setup like that, we've got to, make the most of the moments. We only get like 2 instances a year to make Bibby a United fan. One is like this, and the other one was when it was his birthday celebration, and we had all the balloons, and there was one United balloon stuck in the bunch, kind of thing. I don't get to do it often, so we have to save the moments. But that's not what we are here for. We all take the piss out of each other. That's fine. That's par for the course. But one thing that changes every day, though, is the news. So let me give you the headlines for today. Today's headlines are the fact that the Legend of Zelda, nice, Zelda even, Breath, the big old Zelda, Legend of Zelda. Breath of the Wild 2 has been delayed until spring 2023. Even Epic launches Fortnite Zero Build mode. So if you're thinking, do you know what, Fortnite, no building, nice. 9 days, not so nice. Missed it, didn't get a chance to play. Well, no worries. Fortnite Zero Build mode is here to stay, and everyone's excited about it. We will then jump into a serious story that we didn't have time for yesterday. We had time to skim over it, but we didn't want to skim over it. And it's about black streamers and colour of changing, demanding hashtag Twitch do better. So we will go through that story. Then following that, we will jump into Activision Blizzard. I think it was was it Next Gen Base that shared this?
It was.
In the Discord that says Activision Blizzard will pay $18 million to settle its federal sexual harassment lawsuit. 18 million's a lot of money, but not when Bobby Kotick gets like a bajillion just for existing. So, yeah, we'll go through that one. Then we'll have a little bit of a recap for Sony's PlayStation announcements yesterday. And then, surprise, surprise, the UK's biggest selling video game franchises ever are FIFA, COD, and Mario. Nobody surprised. Nobody's surprised. Okay, nice. A little bit. Okay, we will jump into the news. We will have to keep up the pace throughout the course of this show because obviously we spent a little bit of time.
Famous last words?
Yeah. I mean, we have spent a little bit of time redecorating. I mean, those 5 canvases weren't going to hang themselves. So, yeah. But yeah, okay, enough of that. Try to not get distracted by that. We do have 6 stories and not much time to go through, so we will try to keep the pace as we jump through them. The first story, though, The Legend of, not Zelda, but Delda, as we've found out already. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 delayed until spring 2023. Falling behind. So the sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild has been delayed until spring 2023. If you listen, you can hear ads cry in the distance.
Is that the Switch Pro being delayed as well?
It sounds like it. So Nintendo had originally planned for a 2022 release. However, in a video statement, series producer Eiji Aonuma announced the game has been pushed back. Quote, "For those of you who have been looking forward to a release this year, we apologize," he said. As previously announced, the adventure in this sequel will take place not just on the ground as in the previous game, but also in the skies above. However, the expanded world goes beyond that, and there will be an even wider variety of features you can enjoy, including new encounters and new gameplay events. End quote. Aonuma states the team is aiming to make the game something special and is continuing to work diligently on this game. Footage in the video also includes a first look at Link holding what looks like a degraded Master Sword. Let the speculation commence. I don't know what that means, so I'm just going to have to go, okay, great, nice. It's unknown when we'll get a good look at the game. The last announcement for the game was last June, where the latest trailer was revealed. So there you go. Not much news other than the confirmation that the game is it's not happening yet. What the fuck is, like, Eurogamer's videos just randomly disappear. Okay, there we go, play. Thoughts on this, Bib? Breath of the Wild 2 delayed all the way until next year, despite potentially coming out for 2022. It's another one that's fallen back up to 12 months-ish. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, more so for them, I bet they're probably devastated at the fact that they're not going to have the holiday season release. It's a shame that it's now been put back to spring, but I imagine it's for good reason. There's something that's not either technically working properly with the Switch itself. Now, obviously, they want to go bigger and better, but that comes with limitations. The bigger and better doesn't necessarily mean that you are going to get something that's a polished game. Using Pokemon Arceus as an example is something that they have dipped their toe into, an open world game. and the gameplay is fantastic. It just lacks a lot of environmental things that make it a fuller world, and I think that's the kind of thing that Zelda wants to try and avoid. They want to try and make it a fulfilling world to be around. I mean, they're saying that the battles will commence in the sky as well. That's a completely different dynamic that they've had in Breath of the Wild 1. So it's unfortunate, and I think they're probably more gutted at the fact that they're going to be missing the holiday season. The amount of bundled consoles that they would have sold with this, I imagine a lot of people. Well, it's a sequel, so it's not going to be their first game that they will be. It's not a must pick up game for people who haven't played the first one. Like, I can't imagine people getting excited to play the second one without playing the first one first. It could be that the bundles come with the first and second game, not on one cartridge, or two separate cartridges. There's no way they'll be able to put that out there in one cartridge. But yeah, it's disappointing, but I think it's going to be worthwhile. I think it's going to be worth the wait. Spring is only 4 or 5 months afterwards. Do you know what I mean? It's not like a huge slip from the end of this year to the end of 2023. It's literally just a matter of a couple of months. So every cloud.
I'm 100% not retweeting the tweet that Enzo has tweeted from you, by the way. No, not at all. No, I agree. I did preface our go live video with a bad news. Actually, not bad news, because it's not bad news. A game being delayed is not bad news. It's disappointing for our own personal, selfish reasons, but it's not bad news. It's just good things come to those who wait, and if you want something to be a good thing, as we've said many times before, sometimes it's not right now. So won't spend too much time talking about that. Delay it. It is what it is. It is what it is. I think them missing the Christmas period, like you say, is a big thing. For shifting units, that's good. However, Nintendo just don't need to do that. Animal Crossing New Horizons came out, what was that, March, April time in lockdown 2 years ago, and that was it. Switch just was never in sale, ever in stock, ever again. That's it, it's gone, bam.
Still full price as well.
Yeah. Legend of Zelda, didn't that come out in March the first time? Breath of the Wild, should I say. I think that came out in March. I could be wrong. But what I'm trying to say is they have previous of other brands want to hit that Christmas market, and Nintendo will want to do that. They will do that with something else instead. But this will be their, do you know what, fuck it, Christmas in March market. They'll just do that anyway. Okay, we'll throw it out late March, early April, and we'll just sell shitloads anyway. So it is, as the tagline says, falling behind. But do you know what? It is, but it isn't. It doesn't matter. Take your time, Nintendo. For the people that are Legend of Zelda fans, the ones that really care about playing a good quality game, they'll be happy with the way. And the key thing as well is having not played Elden Ring or Breath of the Wild, listening to people talking about Elden Ring, saying this is having its Breath of the Wild moment. And that being, Breath of the Wild changed the way and influenced lots of other games into how they play open world games, having the glider and traversal options and things like that, which we've now seen being adopted in Horizon Forbidden West, but it wasn't in Zero Dawn, and other games looking at it and learning from the best. To be the best, you've got to beat the best kind of thing. So a game that is essentially not genre defining, but genre expanding, improving. You don't just want to rush the next one out, because that just taints your legacy. So it's one thing that Nintendo does is usually looks after its main IP and stays the course. We want to deliver good shit, we will deliver good shit. We will not deliver bad shit. So Breath of the Wild 2 expanded the genre. Breath of the Wild expanded the genre. Breath of the Wild 2, if it doesn't even have the same level of impact, because sequels by definition are inferior, obviously they want to improve on it, but will they improve to the same level? Maybe not, but they still want to make it a decent title. So yeah, absolutely makes complete sense. Hold it back, make it good, push the envelope as far as you can with the systems that you're working on. Naturally, there's only so much you can do within the Switch system, but I mean they made it look incredible with Breath of the Wild. So give them a bit more time to look at what Breath of the Wild 2, and it's gonna be great when you hear the Santa Frosties hitting your plate, mate.
Well, if this year's anything to go by, Graham, then February is the new November. Do you know what I mean? Like it seemed like every single game that got pushed back from October, November, December last year seemed to have come out in February, March this year. Is it a different trend that we're seeing now, where the Christmas market maybe isn't as glamorous as it used to be? I don't believe that. I believe it's just that they couldn't get it finished in time, and bad press is it's a game killer. I mean, there's no other way of putting it. If your game is toilet, then it's not gonna sell anything. So them delaying it and then games that tend to come out after delays, obviously a lot better because that's the polish that they tend to put on there. So yeah, I'll be interested to see what happens this Christmas with a lot of games.
I agree. So we are united in our thought process there, Bib.
Yes, Graham, we are united in our thought process.
Sorry. Okay. No, I think it's a little bit of that, plus the fact that video games just sell now. Sell whenever. You don't have to get a video game for Christmas or your birthday. Video games are like going to the movies, like treating yourself to a McDonald's or whatever. Video games are mainstream, so they will just sell anytime. There used to be periods of the year, like certain parts of June, July, where you just wouldn't release games because people are on holiday. And what's the point? If you release it, it's not going to sell, and it'll have to get discounted. So by the time people are back into the bedrooms because all the sun's gone in and it's starting to get a little bit autumny, and people want to play games, your games are discounted. So it's not the same now. People will, like we were joking about it just the other day. I think it was Saturday. It's like, oh, it's really nice outside. Let's open a window while we play video games inside. It's that sort of thing. Like people will play video games all day, every day. So yes, Christmas and what's the word I'm looking for? Seasonal ticks are still there, but they're an evergreen sort of purchase now. So yeah.
I've seen Ben's comment in the chat. COVID plus bigger games equals delays. Like, without being a dick, at what point can we stop having COVID as an issue? Because I think that a lot of restrictions obviously have been lifted in the UK now. At what point do we start to go, right, things are back to, and I'll put this in air quotes, normal, and things are back to how they used to be in terms of working conditions? Like, when does that expire? Because I don't think you could probably use that as often now.
I think that still applies in some instances, though, in the fact that a lot of businesses have adopted the new normal, as it's called. So a lot of workers and a lot of offices, a lot of dev teams and stuff, and I mean, a lot of businesses aren't in properly for social distancing reasons and so on. So developers are trying to get used to having more staff permanently working remotely or working remotely more often, which then slows things down. And so I think there's going to be a long tail on that. So people will probably start to get a little bit of fatigue with that sort of reasoning. Most people that are logical gamers will be like, yeah, whatever, take your time. Other people are like, nah, you've had a bit of time, mate. I went back to work 6 months ago, mate, 2 years ago, whatever. But I think for some businesses, particularly things like that, where you've got collaborative development from teams around different areas of the world and so on, I think that will still continue to be a bit of a disruption for probably the next couple of years. Plus the fact that we've had disruptions over the last 2 years. A lot of video games take 4, 5, 6, and if you're Cyberpunk, 27 years to be developed. So there is probably knock-on restrictions that we will have on games coming out for the next 2 years that are 2 years back, kind of thing. So yeah, I think that will be something that will be here to stay. Although I do feel, from PR reasons, they may change the way that they approach that wording.
Yeah.
Because just because average Joe Public's like, well, I've been back at work for 6 months and I'm back to normal now, so why are you not? And it's like, different horses for courses, mate. Horses for courses.
Yeah. It was always a challenge being able to work from home and trying to collaborate in effort. But me personally, even being in the industry, like you say, they're going to have to change that wording at some point, because I'm thinking, after 2 years, surely you've got some kind of VPN being put in. Like, it shouldn't take you that long to be able to get over that obstacle. Other obstacles will get thrown up. I feel like I'm dampening this down as to this should be sorted out by now. Like, you should have been able to keep up with this trend. But obviously, things evolve, things change. Not every single workplace is fluid, but I would imagine most video game companies should be back to full capacity now, either working in the office or back at home or a hybrid at both. I don't feel.
I think there's other
yeah.
things as well in terms of trying to work out project timeframes. So some stuff that is quite speedy when you're all in the same room can be a bit longer when everyone's in different rooms. And then you've got like collaborative development. So having like different tools. I'm trying to think of where to put this without saying stuff that I know from internal development process. Let's just say some development systems might have an internal PC, let's call it that people have to log on to, and that either is one physical PC or multiple ways of accessing one central unit kind of thing. And then that's where VPNs come in. Okay, you can access the central unit from outside the office and so on, but some things will work with that, some things won't work with that. And then there's the idea of, okay, if we as a development team want to sit down and go through a project, we don't have the interpersonal relationship that we do when we are split out in different offices, different rooms, different countries that we would in the office. So there's the whole idea of trying to not just mesh hardware and systems together, but meshing people together. And I think that's probably the biggest thing, is trying to get people used to new processes, new ways of working, new collaborative systems. Be that, it could just be as simple as okay, we'll sit there first thing Monday morning and we'll have a little bit of a crunch meeting where we go, okay, this is what we need to do. This is what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? Okay, well, that doesn't necessarily always transition smoothly into a Zoom call. People might be scared to speak up or whatever, or then we'll have like people going, oh, we'll have one of these like Evernote sort of documents where we can all write our feedback bits in it, and that always has a long tail. Transitioning people from that into it, I think that's probably the thing. So yeah, anyway, I still think, whilst we all appreciate that, I do think that I did look through this article, and I didn't see one mention of the word pandemic or COVID being the reason for the delay. Whether that was in their original press release or not, I'm not sure. But I wouldn't be surprised if we do stop seeing that, even though that will still be a factor for, like I say, for at least the next couple of years. I think people are almost bored of hearing it's like, yeah, great, we've all been delayed by that, and it's like, yeah, but it was a pandemic, so it will have lasting effects.
It still is. I mean, there's a lot of places around the world that still have high cases and still have a lot of things. I think it was only Scotland, maybe last week of the year before, last week or the week before, actually started to get rid of some of their restrictions. Like, they've had them in their restrictions for the longest time, despite England not having them. So yeah, I understand they probably got their workload ramped down to about 40%. They may be up to like 75. That's probably being generous percent of their workload being back up to normal. But yeah, I feel like at some point they need to change maybe an excuse, or just don't use it as an excuse and go back to using the word fucking polish, because let's be honest, every single games company loves using the word polish because it's very ambiguous.
Speaking of polish, Tito can afford a bit more polish because he's had a 35% pay rise because he didn't get the job that he went for. He got the one above it. Fuck! I mean, I'm not saying that those ice cream upload stickers are 10 out of 10. I mean, he was saying he didn't have it or he forgot it. Maybe he didn't forget it. Maybe he didn't realise that he just had it on like the outside of his jacket. So as soon as he went in, they were like,
ooh,
this
holographic
guy,
sticker.
This guy. Ooh. But anyway, congrats again, Tito. Tito making it rain. Jim Butter says, no problem with Zelda being delayed. Nintendo are a rare few that really seem to care about their craft. We all knew it would be delayed anyways. It's a Zelda tradition. I have no doubt the delays will be worth it. Touche. Babies come out, always a red. I knew it, says Blake. COVID plus bigger games equals delays in it. Jim Butter says, would be amazing if they launched Breath of the Wild 2 with a so-called Switch Pro or whatever it may be called. I mean, that's what Ads has been saying for a while. He's been saying 2022. He originally said March before all the delay stuff. March 2022, Switch Pro, Breath of the Wild 2, both being released, but obviously now it's been pushed back to next year, so we'll see. Games dev has changed for the foreseeable future. COVID equals change in working practices, equals delays in games. It's not a tech problem, it's a human problem. It's a both problem. I know there are still some technical hurdles, some for more businesses than other, but yeah, the human one is the biggest thing, is people trying to get used to how how those work. Like, you can change meetings for calls and stuff quite easily, but it's the big how do I put it? Not even the big. It's the little things that you don't realize that suddenly slow things down and the disconnect or so on. Yeah. Anyway, we'll put a pin in that. We don't need to go about that bit. What we can do though is jump into our next news story, which is another story that we've spoken about a few times. And the main reason I don't know is because Gaming Nacho, who I know will be listening to this while he goes on his walk at some point over the next couple of days, has mentioned, yo, you're talking about Fortnite again. And I was thinking, we don't talk about Fortnite that much, but we must have done like 2 or 3 times over this last couple of weeks. Well, let's make it 4 then, as Epic launches Fortnite Zero Build mode. No building, no problem. This is written by Ed Nightingale at Eurogame. I'm going to hit play on the trailer. It says, Epic has launched Fortnite Zero Build mode in its popular Battle Royale. Last weekend, building was removed from the game temporarily. New movement abilities were added into a faster sprint, mantling, and a shoulder bash, as well as an overshield. Now, following the rumours, the change has been made permanent. Quote, no building, no problem. It's all about your combat skills on the ground. Reads a tweet from the official Fortnite account. It's accompanied by a new trailer full of explosive action, which is the one that is playing right now. I'll pause that and we'll come back to it just in case you haven't seen it. Zero Build is available in the Discover menu and can be played as solos, duos, trios, and squads. Epic is also adding 3 new weapons to the game. The Anvil rocket launcher can lock onto vehicle targets, pick it up from the regular and rare chests, in 7 supply and IO chests, in supply drops, and from sharks. Then there are the MK7 assault rifle and combat assault rifle. The former has a red dot scope, while the latter has recoil that powers up the weapon's strength. Both assault rifles can be found in the dark. Okay, you get it. Basically, Epic have decided to stick with the Zero Build mantra that they've had for the last 9 days. This has got people talking, and it's genius. It's genius. The thing that makes Fortnite is building. The thing that stops people from getting into Fortnite, the biggest barrier for entry, is building. So what Fortnite have done is, for a limited time mode, removed building and then thought, do you know what, actually, we'll just remove it permanently for people that offer it. So therefore, removing their biggest barrier for entry for a lot of people into the game. And I said, it'd be interesting to see whether this actually has an impact. And it did. It has had a significant impact in terms of column inches. I haven't looked at stats on user numbers, so if anyone has seen that stuff, that would be interesting to see. But in terms of column inches and media share, this has definitely earned what they were planning to get from this. There's definitely a lot more people talking about it. What are your thoughts, babe?
Yeah, I'm trying to quickly find whether or not you can still tick off your battle pass stuff in the no build stuff, because I haven't seen anything to say that you can't, but also that it's confirmed that you can. So that's what I'm trying to find, and I can't seem to get a good answer on it. Because if that's the case, then a lot of people probably won't go back to playing the no building mode if you can't tick off all your challenges, because
I did
it'll just be unranked.
I did see, not in this article, and I can't remember where, but I did see that it counts towards your battle pass stuff somewhere. Someone was talking about it on social, saying Zero Build mode will still do your season pass, battle pass, whatever stuff. Which
amazing then.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, you want to play it with building? Nice. You want to play it with no building? Nice. Imagine having a game that's that successful that you can add in solos, duos, trios, and 2 different modes completely, and just not have it impact on your user base. What the fuck? GG's.
Calling anything out there, Graham?
Nope. Not at all.
No comment. But
no.
yeah, it's super cool. It's super cool. Like, I've played 1 match so far with it because I thought, this is my last chance to play it without the no build. I'm gonna have a go. And yeah, it was interesting getting into scraps with people, and then I don't know whether or not it was bots, Graham, but you can see people physically pausing the game because they're trying to press whatever button it is that they use to throw up the stuff. And they're realizing that they can't throw up the stuff. So they physically just pause in the game, and you go, do you know what? Bang! You're taking them out, which was quite nice. But yeah, I like it. I think it's a much better game without it, basically because I was shit at it, and it gives me half a chance now to be able to get into a scrap with someone. But I understand it wasn't for a lot of people, and I'd be very interested to see. I know there's people in here that aren't asked about the esports side of things, but as people who are heavily invested into the esports scene, I'll be surprised. I'm interested, is the word I'm looking for, to see how they go with that. Like at the Fortnite World Cup or the World Finals or any kind of qualifying stage for a Fortnite tournament. Is it going to be in no build mode? Or are they going to have two separate championships now? One build, one without, one build, one without build. What's the deal?
I kind of feel like they need to either drop the word build or create another word, because that just sounds so lame at that sense. The Fortnite World Champion. It sounds like you're a caveat. The Fortnite World Champion without building. It's like, oh, okay. Oh, you're not quite Fortnite then. You're about 70% Fortnite, 60% maybe. So they can, like, if they call it the Fortnite Zero Champion, that sounds pretty cool. Fortnite Zero Building. It's like, if you go into esports, you need that branding on point. So that's cool to get the message out, but for an esports thing, I think they will have to come up with something that ditches the word build, because that just sounds like an excuse that you've put it in. I went onto Fortnite the other day, says Jim Butters. I find it way more fun. It's now just a good battle rather than dealing with someone building the Burj Khalifa. Yeah, I keep throwing in like Taj Mahal or the Empire State Building or something like that. You get some mega construction. Meanwhile, you're sat there with like one wooden ramp without even a protective sidewall. Like, let's go. We got this. So yeah, no, I agree. And it's not just that though as well. It's like, it's so good, the pacing in it. I've watched people play it, either Luke in the office on his way to a dub the other day, or some streamers, and they're just running, jumping, vaulting, grabbing hold of things, sliding, and it's just fluid. It's so fluid. And no, fluid used to be the most overused vague word from games journalists ever. It's just fluid, which means it runs well, better than well. But it's just, everything just is seamless. The transitioning from one thing to the other, jumping up on over stuff, everything works exactly how you'd expect it to. None of the jankiness, which is nice to see. So GG's. Glad they've brought it in to stay. It may get vaulted eventually at some point, possibly depending how things go, but it's beautiful. Not as fluid as PUBG, surely, says Gaggard. Exactly. Not quite. I mean, PUBG is consistent with its inconsistencies, which is, I mean, about as fluid as you can expect. It's full-on consistency. Yes. Anyway, moving ahead. And this is the story that we shifted from yesterday because we wanted to make sure we had enough time to discuss. Obviously, with all of the news stories today, we were not going to spend a lot of time on this, but we wanted enough time to give it a proper read through. This is once again at Eurogamer by Ed Nightingale. This one, the title says, Black streamers and colour of change demand hashtag Twitch do better. The tagline says, Twitch has shown repeatedly that it is not willing to be transparent. And into the body of the article, it says, Black streamers on Twitch have joined forces with Colour of Change on a campaign demanding Twitch do better. Last year, marginalised creators on the platform were rocked by a surge of malicious hate raids, and the hashtag Twitch do better was used to criticize Twitch's response. This was followed by the hashtag a day off Twitch campaign. However, this new campaign is asking for a resurgence in support. In an open letter to Twitch CEO Emmett Shear and senior staff, Black streamers state not enough has been done to support marginalized creators. While Twitch did respond to the influx of hate raids, the letter notes that Twitch only updated its safety protocols following the high-profile campaigns by Black streamers, and since then, not enough has been done. Quote, while Twitch claims to be listening to creators and building solutions to help stop unwanted harassment, it still has not offered a timeline for when these demands will be met, if at all, reads the letter. Twitch has shown repeatedly that it is not willing to be transparent and cares more deeply about its public image than the safety of Black streamers, end quote. The letter also criticises the recent support for Black History Month as, quote, short-term performative Black History Month initiatives, which were sorely inadequate. Quote, Twitch must address its complicity in anti-Black racism on the platform, and that starts with working directly with impacted Black creators to determine which policy and procedural changes are needed to improve their safety, as well as being transparent about when these changes will be implemented, end quote. As such, black streamers and Colour of Change have 3 major demands that Twitch do better. The first one, easily accessible and well-communicated incident feedback loops, which would allow black creators who've been harassed or hate-raided to obtain more immediate support. Next, improved moderation practices and support, which would equip black creators and their teams with tools needed to end hate raids and protect themselves from discriminatory language, especially during featured events. And finally, commitment to conduct a racial equity audit, which would allow Twitch to eliminate any manifestation of bias, discrimination, or hate in its policies and procedures. The campaign has been launched alongside a video featuring the experiences of 4 black streamers: I Am Brandon, a typical queer, that's a_typical queer, Real Mama Eagle, and It's Lady Kit. I will stop there because the rest of the article then goes to quote a lot of the stuff that is in the actual video embedded within the article. We won't play that video because it's about 3 to 4 minutes, if I remember. I did watch it yesterday. 3.5 minutes. So if you want to see that video, we can share the link to this in the Twitch chat. Do feel free to go through and read that. I'd recommend watching the video. The video is pretty good because it just gives you a little bit more context on the human side of hate raids and the impacts that they can have. Because it's bad enough reading headlines and understanding how shit people can be, but it's even worse when you realise how much it rocks people. Just for having a different pigmentation in their skin, literally nothing else. It's crap. Anyway, the point of the whole article is that black streamers and Colour of Change are demanding that Twitch do better. What are your thoughts, babe?
Yeah, I don't really need to say much on this, Graham, because it feels like a very cut and dry thing. Like, all they're asking for, black creators are asking for, is support.
Yeah,
you could take all of those 3 bullet points that they mentioned there. Obviously, they bulked them out to be a little bit more specific. But if you could easily tie them all together and just say, just support us, help us, help us combat the shit that is making our lives a misery on a day-to-day basis. I don't think that's much to ask for, do you?
Nope. Like literally what you just said exactly. Easily accessible and well-communicated incident feedback loops, which is a lot of big words, but basically they are just saying, we want to be able to report shit and find out if it's going to be actioned on. Support, as Bibby's just said. Next up, improved moderation practices and support. So if people are coming and being shit, you can find ways to just squash that instantly. Support. Nice. Commitment to conduct a racial equity audit, which basically means that everyone is treated the same, regardless of race, skin colour. There is no differences, which is just offering equal support. So like you say, there is nothing there that is being asked for that isn't just basic standard humanistic elements. So I completely agree. There is no counter argument to this. Yeah. So yeah, we all agree. We all agree. I do feel Twitch does need to do better. I do feel Twitch specifically. The only things I would say actually is Twitch may how can I put this?
I still think they've got a lot to learn.
Yeah, yeah. I was thinking is a lot. Some of this may be institutional racism built in there, which is where not maybe is. But I think some of it probably comes under the fact that Twitch is not necessarily as competent as people may think. So some of it may fall in incompetence, which is no more excusable, and that will come from the fact that people in different varying, in all sorts of variation of. What am I trying to say? People will ask things from Twitch. It could be, can you help me get my channel unblocked? I've had shitloads of people like follow botting my channel. How do I sort this out? I've applied to be a partner and not heard anything. I've got something else wrong with my channel. I've got no response. I've been locked out of my channel. I can't get access to my emails to unlock my password. And you just get lost in this loop of, is someone going to come back to me? So that's bad enough when it's account-related stuff. But when it's personal attacks on people from the way they speak or look or are, then that takes it to the next level. So yeah, I'm not saying Twitch that aren't complicit at all in any of this, but I'm saying some of that is probably that too. But it's still not excusable for a platform that is funded by fucking Amazon. it needs to do better.
I think it just comes down to it might just be a small lack of an education. I feel like, but obviously these are humanistic. These are humanistic instincts. Like I don't think it's not a characteristic that should be failed upon anybody. Like people are in need of help and support. That surely should be the first port of call. Like help the people who are in need of help on your platform. You are responsible for the people that are on that platform. I understand in your terms of service it may be like you're going live at your own free will, but if people are coming onto your platform to preach hate, then surely it's your platform. You need to look after it and help the people who are on the receiving end of it. It's
Absolutely.
not. I don't think you don't really need that much of an education with that. If you're going to plan to do Black History Month and you need to understand a little bit more about it, I imagine you could call across anybody that has any kind of information that you lack, that you want to understand more of. I'm fairly certain there will be thousands, hundreds of thousands of people that are willing to give you a shoulder to be able to understand and give you information on that kind of things. You can't just go into things blind and go, okay, it's Black History Month, let's throw a couple of black creators on the front screen and we've participated. It needs to go a little bit more deeper than that.
No, I agree.
So I mean, this is all coming from someone who hasn't got that much information and hasn't got a background in Black history, but I can understand the concept of it. I can understand why it's needed. I can understand there's an education to be had from all of this. And I don't even work for Twitch, and I'm telling you how you could do this for free and help benefit everybody. I think it just comes down to common sense. And you understand there will probably be a lot of hoops for people to be able to try and jump through to try and make things happen all the time. But at least be a bit more open about it, because I imagine your respect from black content creators will be incomprehensible. Yeah, you'll be sent to the moon. You'll be flown up there, and you have respect of it.
All content creators will go over there. Like the thing with watching that video that's embedded within the article, by the way, the link is in the chat. It mentions one of the creators in there. I can't remember which one it was, but she mentions that she was going live as you would as a content creator because it's cool, it's fun, it's something to do. You can interact with people. It's a nice release. It's not always raindrops and daisies. Sometimes it can be difficult. Sometimes going live is a little bit of a slog because you need the energy and you've got to kind of like G yourself up, and it can be tiring and stuff. But you do it ultimately because it's a fun, cool way to engage with other people. But then finding that has been turned into something that adds to your anxiety, wanting to press the little button on your stream deck or whatever out where you go live that starts your stream, and then going, can I be arsed with the shit that this is going to bring for me? Then that's horrible. As for the platform in general, that's not a race thing. That's something Twitch should just be doing and looking at finding ways to fix that so that you can go, I want to get rid of the dickheads, like anti-malice sort of stuff. That's what they should be doing anyway. That's basic human. Like, we want to look after the people within our community. But then when that progresses past that to the point where actually we want to use the what were they called, tags? I can't remember. The tags. Yeah, the black tag or the LGBTQ tag or whatever. We want to use those to target specific groups of people to tear them down. At that point, it's not just a case of a couple of dickheads being dickheads on the internet. That's groups actively targeting other groups, be that marginalized communities or black creators. At that point, it's bigger than a big problem. It's a monumental problem. That's a foundational problem that they need to be fixing straight away. And I agree that they recognise that Twitch has done some good stuff, but not fast enough and not transparent enough. Like we were talking last year, I remember we were speaking about Twitch needs to do something. It was after Shaw had a stream where he was upset that he had been followed by some of these almost like scout bots. Some accounts were set up that would go into creators' channels, and they were almost the sign that the storm was coming, because if one of these followed you, then almost certainly the rest of these bots were going to follow you, and you were just going to get opened up to all sorts of horrendous racist shit. So having to speak to him, having to see him deal with that, we then, obviously, as a number of articles did at that point in time, we covered the news saying that Twitch needs to do something. And in fairness to Twitch, they were working on some good stuff. Not enough stuff, but some good stuff. But that came about 4, 5, 6 months later, out of the blue. Oh, here's the thing that we've been working on. We couldn't tell you we're working it on for reasons. And it's like, I kind of get it, but we need something. We need even like look, we see you. We are working on something. We can't tell you what it is. We can't tell you when it's coming, but guaranteed we are working on something tangible, something you will see and feel. So whilst it's going to be a rough period until that arrives, just know that we have your back, and we will have your back. Remember this. That's something like that, at least, is a sign. It's not transparent, but it's a sign that you're being as transparent as you can be. And we don't have that. It's the silence, the lack of transparency. That's the worst thing around it. Drew, thank you very much for the bit there, dude. As always. Love you. Appreciate that. Okay, jump back through the comments. Breaks my brain that racism is still a thing in 2022, but it's seemingly more prevalent than ever. I'm not even sure it is, you know. I think it's just people have got more avenues to fucking throw it out unchecked. And that uncheckedness is the shit that needs to be pulled down. People will do but it's freedom of speech. Is that freedom of speech? There's also contrasting things about attacking other people and so on. But also, this is a private, even though it's open to the public, platform. Twitch is privately owned. It's not governmental. So your freedom of speech is irrelevant. If Twitch wants to get you off because you're a twat, then get off it. Fuck off. So, yeah. When you're the market leader in a service, incompetence leads to actual harm. It's just as inexcusable as being malicious. Absolutely. I agree. While many white LGBTQ were hate raided along with... I don't know how to say that acronym. So... is it BAME or do you say BAME? Is there a way to? I've never actually known.
I think it is BAME, innit?
I mean, someone feel free to correct my ignorance in the chat. I'll go with BAME for now. Do feel free to, because I know LGBTQ is phonetically spelled out, but I don't know if BAME is like one word kind of thing. Anyway, we'll go with BAME. Creators, it's not about colour, firstly. Secondly, I spoke to several of those hate-rated, came together and suggested a community campaign to dono rather than sub. Take the money out of Twitch's pockets until they upgraded their tech to prevent the raids, which is exactly what Shaw has been doing himself. Like, you will see that Shaw has a lot of... For those, I mean, I've already tagged him in the chat when we were talking on something a little bit less heavy, and I don't really want to throw him out as...
Am I in shot?
Scared the shit out of me. I forgot he had an audio thing on that. Is he in shot? He is. But Shogun Ash Live, good friend of the channel, good friend in real life as well, by the way. He... has changed his videos and stuff on his channel saying, do you know, I appreciate anyone that wants to help support me, but if you want to get involved and you want to throw some money down to help support me, if you don't mind, Patreon is an option, and I will give you benefits over on Patreon as well, because I get a bigger share of the revenue there. We aren't just feeding into Jeff Bezos's pockets, even though it's kind of not his, but it is. But yeah. So yeah, no, I agree with that. It is difficult though, because people want simple things, and that is like easy life. I want my emotes, I want my ad-free viewing on your channel, I want my little icon that pops up that says that I've been supporting you for a long period of time. People want that sort of stuff, so it is quite difficult to do that, because if Twitch is the platform and you are not paying into Twitch with subs, then you are getting inconvenienced by adverts. That is enough for some people to go, well, fuck that shit. But yeah, anyway, okay, we will put a pin in this conversation. I would recommend it for anyone that's still in the stream. Do click on that Eurogamer article and do watch that video. It's good to put some real world stuff towards these stories, because quite often, not always, a lot of people don't see the effects of these that malicious attacks, the hate raids and so on. But that video does kind of tell you the levels that some people are having to deal with it, which I think is always good to know, good to see, rather than sometimes we have to at certain times all bury our head in the sand. But that one's not a shock to the system, but it's also shocking enough to I think we all need to be aware of it. Anyway, speaking about shocking things, let's jump into another one. This one is from Tom Ivan at VGC. It says Activision Blizzard will pay $18 million to settle its federal sexual harassment lawsuit. Court approved significant settlement, but critics say the compensation figure is far too low. So a federal court judge has approved Activision Blizzard's $18 million settlement of a sexual harassment lawsuit filed last year by the US Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, the EEOC. Current and former employees dating back to September 1st, 2016 can submit a claim about sexual harassment, retaliation, or pregnancy discrimination to be considered for relief. While the EEOC settlement is the second largest of its kind the agency has ever agreed, it is not without its critics, including the California Department for Fair Employment and Housing, the DFEH. Prior to the filing of the EEOC's lawsuit last September, the DFEH sued Activision Blizzard in July over its failure to handle sexual harassment and discrimination against female employees. The EEOC, which is a federal agency, and the DFEH, which is a state agency, have been engaged in a dispute over how much victims should receive from Activision Blizzard, with the latter being far more aggressive in its pursuit of compensation. The DFEH fears its case, which is scheduled to go to trial in February 2023, may be undermined by today's settlement, which it had been attempting to delay. As reported by the Washington Post, victims who become part of the EEOC's settlement can also be part of the DFEH's lawsuit on specific. Can't also be part of the lawsuit, should I say, on specific issues of harassment, retaliation, or pregnancy discrimination. Last October, Labour. Do you know? I'm going to stop here for just a second because I read through this article earlier on. It does become quite wordy, quite difficult to follow, and we are having to pick up the pace, so I will stop there for just a second. So the gist of this article is Activision Blizzard is a place that has been known to have a toxic frat boy environment, is the way that it was previously described. And now Activision Blizzard are willing to pay $18 million, which is a large sum of money, the second largest of its kind in this sort of situation to have ever been paid out, but a drop in the ocean. 18 million when Bobby Kotick, one single man, got 120 million last year or whatever it was. So he got 6 times that amount and then some. This also means not only is that 1/6 of one person's wage for was it hundreds of people across the case. Not all of them would get access to a large sum of money anyway. Some of the money goes back into Activision Blizzard for them to spend on charitable things. So they're being fined 18 million, a chunk of which they will have to pay to themselves. How does that work? What the fuck? It's like you going, baby, you've been speeding. That's going to cost you 60 quid. You can keep 30 quid to spend on your own development, though. All right, yeah, nice. And then, as well as that, nobody is guilty of this because it's settled outside the court. So Bobby Kotick and all the other staff at the top that people want to be pulled and have to answer questions, none of them are being held to task. And then the other cases that are ongoing, people that do settle and take earnings from this case will do so with the caveat that actually you can't speak in the other case as well. So it's like a double whammy. I'm glad that there is some sort of... I mean, a settlement is one of those where nobody accepts... what's the word? Nobody accepts any blame for this. Nobody is guilty. We're just paying to just leave it there. But then it has further impacts where people can't accept guilt or whatever. It just feels dirty to me. And then, as well as this, I think it was the Kotaku article that Ben shared in the Discord went into... I've completely lost my train of thought now. Like, the Kotaku article went into the fact that it was the amount of money that people would get would be, some people in theory could get $450,000, but it was something like only 6 actual people could actually go for the full amount. The rest of the people would get tapering off amounts. So some people wouldn't even get really anything from this. So it just feels like it's a big sidestep, and the courts were almost like pushing it through, just like, yeah, this is fine, shut up, let it go. We're gonna go for it. If you do feel like you have a case, then fight it in a different court, which just also feels seedy as shit to me, like making a murderer level of seedy shit. But anyway, what are your thoughts, babe?
Yeah, it's one of them things now, isn't it? Throw enough money at it and it'll go away. it's wank. Like no one's going to be able to. No one's going to have their day in court, and I always feel like that's an absolute tragedy. People have been traumatized enough to be able to speak out in the first place, and now it's kind of like, well, they're willing to pay you this amount of money, and I don't know who it is that's accepting the money. I've just skimmed through the article again to see if I could try and find out who's actually saying, do you know what, it's 18 million on the table. I think that this is I think you should take this money. Like, I'm trying to find out why this figure's come about and who's accepting it on behalf of other people, because it's not. I know this is they've been asking for money, and whether or not it's going to go to charitable donations and stuff like that, I don't care about that. I care about the people who have been put in a corner. I'm trying to think of polite ways of saying it. Abused. There we go. The people who have been abused. Where do they sit on this? Like, I imagine if there's 400 people that have put stuff up against the company, how many of those is classed as a majority for this to be able to push through? Because I imagine not everyone wants this outcome. So, as a collective, 18 million seems like a lot of money. As a huge sum of people that are behind this, I don't know. We don't know the ins and outs of it. That's the problem.
Yeah.
We only know that there's amount of money on the table. I imagine, again, the 400 people I've just plucked out of the air. I imagine if you was to sit down and interview all 400 of them, their outcomes would be completely different. There would be 7 or 8 different outcomes that people would have wanted from this. And I feel like the easiest one to offer is a monetary compensation package, which isn't a one size fits all. And immediately, as soon as this happens, my immediate thought is, you're guilty. Like, this is basically hush money, and it never sits right with me, stuff like this.
Which Next Gen Base says the same sort of thing in the chat. Settlements are guilty verdicts for rich folks. That's it. Someone fucking died because of what they went through at Activision. No justice. I will add the caveat, obviously, for balance, that please don't take this as me offering my opinions in favour of Activision, by the way. But I will say that in general, settlements can be that, but they can also be companies just trying to stop things that is damaging their reputation that isn't their fault. So obviously, I'm just offering the caveat that settlements are and aren't guilty verdicts. That's basically what I'm saying. That said, I don't agree with what I've just said. I do agree. This is just a fuck. Okay, let's just get rid of this stink that we've made. But let's just get rid of. Let's waft the smell away with £18 million worth of paper fan, and we'll just move on. Nice. It's a big chunk of money. But it's fine. Let's get rid of it. Let's throw $18 million out and just be done with it so we can just move ahead. But as Next Gen Base says, Kotick earns $18 million in 6 weeks. So is it that big a deal? Is it? No, it's okay. Second biggest in history. But this is a company that absolutely, it's a company that has just been bought for $69 billion. 18 million is literally a drop in the ocean. Well, not literally, obviously, because it's not an ocean. But you get what I'm saying. It's such a tiny chunk of money, but because it's a big chunk of money in the history of what's been paid, people are just trying to hush it through. Yeah, 80 million is fine. But
average consumer, 18 million is an unfathomable amount of money. Like, if you talk to any average Joe, 18 million is stupid money. Even in footballing terms, 18 million is still 18 million. Yeah. It's not Jack Grealish, but it's an half decent championship striker. Do you know what I mean? So 18 million compared to the billions that the company's been bought for, like.
And even when you break it down, like 450,000 is what the Kotaku said. If you break it down, that means that every complainant, I don't know if that's the right word, will get 450 million if it was split equally. 450,000 if it was split equally. Which, if the average Joe's reading that, it's like 450 grand. Fucking take it and be happy. But most people will have someone that's a bit of a dick at work, not have to deal with a situation where someone has. I'm going to use the words committed suicide. I may be wrong. I can't quite remember the details of that article. So I don't. I'll just say with that, with my neck on the line, saying that I could be wrong there. So, but yeah, someone committed suicide as a result of the toxic environment that they were in. 450 grand does not compensate for that, for a loss of a life. So 80 million doesn't compensate for the loss of a life. So it's that's one of those things. 18 million. So if the court's talking, that's the second largest sum ever paid, 450 grand per person. Yeah, but you're forgetting the humanistic elements at the base of this, which is what the entire problem is about. People aren't being treated as humans. So, yeah, it's full on escapism there. Like, okay, we found a quick exit. Let's yeet ourselves out of it. So it's shit. I mean, the only saving grace is that it is a chunk of money, and some people will get some good payouts, which is nice to see. But as mentioned, not everyone will get what they're earned. The business will get some of their own money back to fund their own charitable causes, which is fucking baffling. You have done something wrong. Give me 18 million. Nice. Okay, Chuck, there's 5 million for you. And it's like, well, that sounds legitimate. That's full on. That sounds like brown paper bag sort of engineering sort of stuff. Okay, we choose to invest in charities that will help improve our racial and sexual equality initiatives. So we are going to invest in the Activision Blizzard Drinks Fund, which 100% is full-on inclusive across all of you. Just who is governing where they're putting that money there? No one. It's stupid. Stupid. They'll make this back in 3 days with COD's microtransactions. Yeah.
Let's just release a new map, Graham. That's it. Release a new map, new skin on gun. Good to go.
Or not, as the news was yesterday, they can't change their maps because the game's too big. Yeah, we would have different maps and the ability to change them, but it would make it that you'd need to use your entire hard drive for the game. I wouldn't call the Activision Blizzard shit frat house mentality. I'd say it's worse because I've been to a few frat houses when in college, and they knew no means no and where to draw the line in the first place. And the one dick who acted like that was gone within a week, even though the college did nothing to help. Yeah, but I mean that's the thing though. Like often, the frat house mentality is meant. It's kind of. It's everyone governs themselves. Yeah, this is our house, our space, and you know if the leader's a dick, then everyone else is going to be a dick. The thing is though, the frat houses that you went to clearly didn't have the leaders being a dick. There was a dick in the midst and they kicked him out. The issue is the ones that are making the decisions at Activision Blizzard are the dick. So, yeah, it's the frat house mentality is, yeah, let's we'll look out for each other, boys, jobs for the boys, yeah, we'll promote the boys, yeah, we'll look after the boys. And there's a woman there. She was all right, but she's pregnant now, so do you know what? Yeah, fuck that, yeah. That's the kind of the frat house mentality meaning, so... Yeah, anyway, do you know what? We will put a pin in that one. Activision Blizzard will pay $18 million to settle its federal sexual harassment lawsuit. The court approves the settlement, but the critics are saying the compensation is far too low. It is still ticking over. We will bring you an update on whether it does go ahead or not. But yeah, that is what it is. Okay, we do have 2 more articles, which... we're about an hour.
They are quite chunky. We're an hour 15. Take away 10 for the thingy. I'm happy to push them. I'm
going to push the last one. I'm going to jump into this one because this one is more time pressing. It relates to yesterday's, and it's actually not that long an article, to be fair. So for those that may have missed yesterday's show, we started talking about this could be a busy week for PlayStation. And then before the even end of the podcast, it was a busy week for PlayStation as they announced their new PS Plus changes. There is PS Plus Essential, Premium, Extra, whatever it was. There's 3 different versions of PS Plus, or they will be starting June in the summer. The PS Plus Premium is basically PlayStation Plus PlayStation Now merged together to give you access to PlayStation Plus video game streaming services that incorporates PS3, PS4, PS5, and all sorts of other bells and whistles. Nice. That's not available everywhere. So that hopefully gives you a little bit of framing for this article, which is written by LIANG at The Gamer, which says Sony's PS Plus Deluxe, which I didn't even mention then. So PS Plus Deluxe is a consolation prize for countries where it won't invest in cloud streaming. In regions such as Latin America, Sony will offer a deluxe subscription tier. So Sony has announced its new PS Plus subscription tiers, which were formerly known under the codename Spartacus, and which we now know offer 3 subscription levels. However, certain regions and countries will miss out on the highest tier of this plan. While the PS Plus Essential tier is basically the same as what PS Plus members are currently getting, the new PS Plus Extra tier will add a catalogue of 400 PS5 and PS5 games that players can download. The highest tier is PS Plus Premium, which basically combines the cloud streaming subscription PS Now with PS Plus and adds a further 340 games. But PlayStation subscribers in regions such as the whole of Latin America and countries such as South Korea and Singapore will miss out on this tier, but will have their own tier in the form of a fourth offering. This is the PS Plus Deluxe tier for markets that do not have cloud streaming. Sony has said that this tier will be offered at a lower price compared to Premium, with local pricing varying by the market. Deluxe includes all the benefits from the Essential and Extra tiers, along with all of the retro catalogue of PS1, PS2, and PSP games included in Premium. However, since cloud streaming is unavailable in these territories, the PS3 games will not be included. Sony hasn't been able to offer backwards compatibility on PS4 or PS5 for PS3 games, as there are various issues to do with hardware and software emulation, but cloud streaming has been a way to get around this. But since PS Now and cloud streaming was unavailable anyway in these markets, this means the Deluxe tier will not include this particular capability. However, the lower price of this tier compared to Premium, as promised by Sony, should help with this lack. But why do certain territories lack Sony support in terms of cloud streaming services? It's to do with infrastructure, as George Giashvili, principal games analyst at Omdia, explains. Streaming console games requires specialized server hardware, so PS Now's global coverage is wholly reliant on Sony's investment into its infrastructure, he says. Given the slow uptake of PS Now and other subscription services in the past, Sony made a strategic decision to focus on key console markets. Low subscriber numbers would have meant low return on investment if they expanded PS Now to other markets. Okay, we can pause. We'll pause there. So, PS Plus, three tiers: Essential, Extra, and Premium. Unless you live in a market where PS Now doesn't exist, then PS Plus Deluxe. Absolutely not confusing at all. This all makes perfect sense for everyone, right? It's funny though, because we got PlayStation, and they decided, okay, we want to do something that gives more but costs more. So we will add a word to the end. PlayStation Plus. Okay, that makes sense. Nice. So they've gone, okay, we now want to offer different things. Do we delete Plus and then change things? Do we call it Plus, Bronze, Silver, Gold, ABC? No, we will add other ambiguous words after Plus. So it's not PlayStation Essential, PlayStation Extra. It's PlayStation Plus Essential. PlayStation Plus. It's so confusing. I mean, it's not. It makes sense when you break it down. You get into it. It does make sense, but it's just such a baffling, convoluted, word soup heavy way of breaking it down. When Game Pass is Game Pass and Game Pass Ultimate. Game Pass Ultimate. That's it. Game Pass and Ultimate. Okay. PlayStation Plus Essential, Extra, Premium, Deluxe. What the fuck are you?
The most annoying thing for me is this is an offering for people who can't have the streaming service in their country. I have streaming service in this country, or we have streaming service in this country, but my internet isn't fast enough to be able to use it. So why can't I have this? I'm happy to be able to pay for it if I could. Like, I only get, on a very, very good day, 75 down, 15 up. That's on a very, very good day. That's if nobody around my estate is using their internet that day. But on average, it's probably around 55, which you think is more than enough to be able to stream nearly everything in 4K. In fact, I can stream everything in 4K. That's not a problem. Anything on Netflix, no problems. I can have.
Someone's doing all right over there.
I can have 30 devices in my house all using the Wi-Fi at the same time. But when it comes to streaming video games, I don't know why it just doesn't work. I can't get it to work. Whether or not I'm using Game Pass on my phone, Game Pass on my console that's Ethernet cabled up. Like, every single console in my house has an Ethernet cable into it directly into the router. I am not playing anything over the Wi-Fi apart from Game Pass on my mobile, which I just don't use because it just doesn't work for me. So why can't I have this? Why am I not entitled to this if my internet isn't fast enough? You should be able to go onto the website, run the compatibility thing, and it'll go, do you know what? You're probably just outside this bracket. Here you go. Here's an offer for you. Like, I'm being excluded from it because of my area's shit internet. It doesn't work for me.
Yeah, I don't mind as such in terms of that's them almost apologising for the fact that they haven't invested in that region. Okay, we haven't invested in infrastructure. I do agree with you, though, in the fact that, okay, well, you clearly haven't invested in my region because your infrastructure and your service is shit because it's laggy as fuck. But just because I have the theory of being able to play these games I now have to pay more. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. But yeah, I don't really have any abject opinions on this because I'm just not interested in it. I don't feel like Sony's PS Plus model going forward really speaks to me, and that's not a bad thing. I think it might speak to others, but Jim Ryan coming out and reaffirming yesterday after we went through that news saying that no big games aren't going to be straight into this. You're not going to get day one releases straight into PS Plus because it just doesn't make sense. They have, what did they say, a virtuous cycle or something like that, where the releases earn money. The money then goes back into the studios, which makes a good quality, bigger release for the next title, which then earns money, which then goes back into the studio. It does make sense. It absolutely makes sense. And I feel like PlayStation are kind of doomed here because everyone's going to be like, it's not Game Pass though. And it's like, yeah, but it's working. You tell me that you've not had fun on PlayStation, if you're a PlayStation user, that is, for the last 7 years. And then what have you been doing? Because the games are exceptional. It's just everyone likes something free. So it's just whether that is going to be enough of an opinion piece. Like, does everyone want the free thing more than the quality thing? Because free doesn't necessarily mean quality, and quality doesn't necessarily mean free. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how the cookie crumbles on that one. The other bit for me is I like how still in 2022 the PS3 continues to be a piece of shit. It's like Deluxe includes all the benefits from the Essential and X tiers, along with the retro catalogue of PS1, PS2, and PSP games included in Premium. However, since cloud streaming is unavailable in these territories, PS3 games will not be included. AKA, we can't emulate PS3 games. They have to be played through the cloud so we can take them off of our essentially PS3 hardware on our servers. And that's because they were such shit systems that no one can make a good working emulator fucking 15 years later, or whatever the fuck it is. So, yeah, they absolutely butchered that system, which I still find baffling. The fact that you can play most games on your mobile phone in some form of an emulator, but you can't on a fully fledged PC play a PS3 game is just like, well, you can obviously, but not guaranteed to be perfectly working and usually buggy as feck. So yeah, there we go. Okay, I'd make a joke about the naming conventions, but Xbox One X, Xbox One S, Xbox Series S, and Xbox Series X ain't exactly slick. Do you know what? When I was saying it, that's what I had in mind. So when I was talking about the PS Plus Premium, it was like me going Xbox One, Xbox One S, Xbox One X, and then when you've got the package in it, it's an Xbox One Xbox, and it's like what? So, and it's like PlayStation have gone, we see that people are actually talking pretty positive about Xbox and Microsoft right now. Let's copy something from their playbook. And rather than copying Game Pass and giving away good stuff at a really good price and looking after your user base, they've gone, stupid naming conventions. Tick, we'll have that one. Yep, okay, people are going to love PlayStation now. And it's like, no, that's not, no. No, we've been talking about how good your naming conventions are. Like Cliff Blazinski said something, it was like, PlayStation, this is how PlayStation does releases, and it was like PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, 4, 5. And then Xbox, it lent into the Fast and the Furious meme. It was like Xbox 360, Xbox One, and then it was like 2 Xbox 2 Furious, and then it was Xbox Tokyo Drift, and it was just like, that's kind of what it is. But PlayStation, a week later, I've now thought, yep, do you know what? Plus, PlayStation Plus Extra, PlayStation Plus Extra Superior, PlayStation Plus Extra Superior Deluxe. Blue screen. So yeah. Anyway, Cough, 900 megabyte download. Cough says, I Lotus UK. Fuck off. Sorry, you are like 11 times the speed that I've got. Nice. Tell the man compensating with what's on his lap to shut the fuck up. Babe, I don't know what you compensate. It means that god awful. Oh, I've just slated our own brand. I mean, I was trying to say good stuff, but I've gone the wrong way. That absolute glorious sticker on the back of the laptop is just, I mean, that's compensation for whatever you have or haven't got. If you've got an ICU sticker on your laptop, whether you need to compensate or not, you look fucking, look at that fire, baby. Size doesn't matter. It's what you do with it that counts.
Yeah.
Where PS3 is included, it should be called PS3 now and then. PS now and then. Bibby, what the fuck is going on behind you, says Chappers. That's Bibby's new setup. Have you not seen it, Chappers?
Yeah. I went to go and play football, and Samantha decorated my room.
Yeah. I mean, it looks nice, though. The lamps at the side of him look pretty decent, to be fair.
I mean, it is actually a really good green screen, this, isn't it? Like, we've been talking about the lighting in this room, how it isn't fantastic. However, that looks fucking great. Obviously, clearly we should move the stage to this side of the room.
It does look so good. Like literally, usually when you've got a green screen, you need to obviously light up Bibby and then light up the green screen behind him and stuff. Obviously, you can see a little bit of imperfections. The fact that Bibby's just turned into like a Tetris character now. That just shit itself. But you can see a little bit of the chair. Like Bibby's almost ghosting through the chair behind him, kind of thing, or the bed or whatever it is. So you can see a little bit of that. But generally, that's actually really good. At a glance, you're like, okay, he could actually be sat in that room.
It doesn't help that I'm wearing a green top though as well. Don't forget.
Oh yeah, true.
I am blending in with the background at this point. I could just be a floating head.
What cam is it? Is that the Elgato face cam?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there you go. If you wanted a reason to get an Elgato face cam, it's between a webcam and a DSLR. It's not as expensive as my Sony camera here. It's not as cheap as my Logitech C920 up there. It's between the two, but the quality is so much closer to a DSLR than it is from a webcam. So there you go. Just sticking a webcam on a stick as Bibby sits in a chair in front of a green screen, and it looks almost flawless. GG's. Nice one, Elgato. Love to see it.
This is our new studio.
Yeah, let's go, baby. And on that bombshell, we are going to disappear. So thank you very much, everyone, for dropping into today's stream. If you have missed it, let me give you a recap of the news. We spoke about the fact that Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 has been delayed until spring 2023. Epic's Zero Build mode in Fortnite is here to stay. They've announced that is a concurrent mode that will continue. Black streamers and Colour of Change demand that Twitch do better. We've gone through all of that article, shared it in the chat as well. So if anyone hasn't read that one, I do recommend that's a very good read. As well, Activision Blizzard will pay $18 million to settle its federal sexual harassment lawsuit, and we've just jumped in and had a look at PS Plus Deluxe and a recap on yesterday's PS Plus packages. Information, detailed breakdown, plus extra blah, blah, blah stuff. So yeah, do feel free to watch this back. If you've only just joined us, you can view it on demand on Twitch, or you can watch it on YouTube, or listen to it on the podcast services a little bit later on. It's almost like they've never heard of the marketing / branding term of KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. Exactly. Or keep it short and simple. Easy. You finally binned off that Oasis pish then. Yeah, to be fair, the green screen is convincing. It's good. It's good. Literally just taking delivery of an Elgato facecam. # not spawn. It's genuinely, it's really good. You will notice the difference. Like if you've gone from a Logitech C920, which is I maintain is an exceptional piece of kit for the price. You can often get them for about 25 quid. They're usually about 40 to 70 quid. But for the quality of the camera on that, it's ridiculously good. If you've got good lighting, it's exceptional. Not necessarily the best at running on a green screen, but the Elgato Facecam, like we say, Bibby was just sat. If I go to where is it? United Bedroom. Let me turn that off, and then if I go to the filters and just turn. I can't find it. Filters. There we go. I'll turn Chrome. Oh, that's me. That's my camera. Fuck. Where is Bibby's camera? I don't know which one it is. That one. Oh, it's Discord. Filters. So if I just turn off chroma key on this, this is not meant to be an ad for Elgato, by the way, but look, see where Bibby is just sat in front of a green wall. You can see it's not perfectly smooth. It's not particularly lit up well or anything. That is just a green curtain behind him. And all I did was just enable it. And that's how good the Facecam is. So genuinely, Elgato, GG's on the Facecam stuff. We appreciate it.
Send me another one for my room so I don't have to use my fucking shit camera.
And me as well, although I like mine as well. But mine would just be my additional camera. But still, I've just added one to my list for next month, kitting out the rest of my lighting this month. Nice. Lighting is very important, I will say. Lighting can make bad cameras good, but if you get lighting and a good camera, then even better. Still, obviously, just everything costs.
I've got great lighting and a bad camera.
But yeah, we are done. We appreciate you dropping in for today's episode of The Scoop. As always, we will have another one tomorrow. I say as always. As always, when it's weekdays, we will have another one tomorrow. We are back tonight, though. I will be jumping in with Triggermeister as we go chasing crates with mates from about 6:30 this evening. I don't doubt that there will be other friends jumping into. I mean, obviously, I do run some duos with Lotus, but for the last few weeks, we've had likes of Beans, Nietzsche, and later on Naked Neil and Western Co jumping in. Famous last words, but I am not staying on late tonight. So if you want to jump in, join us from about 6:30 till 10:30, 11-ish. I'm not staying up till 1 like I have done for the last 2 nights. Fuck that shit. So yeah, do feel free to join us tonight from 6:30 for some PUBG fun times. You don't have to, but you absolutely have to. Just saying, you absolutely have to. Before all of that happens, though, Mr. Bibb.
Yes.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Yes. Again, thank you very much to each and every one of you that have joined us for today's episode of The Scoop. We have 2 more left. So if you want to help shape those shows, there's 2 ways you can do so. First of all, find us on social media. It is at Ice Cream Uploads across all major social media platforms. Or alternatively, get involved with our Discord. If you're watching this on any of our on-demand services, go into the description below. All the information that you require will be listed there below. But only from you is URL plus your thoughts and impressions. We will then give you our thoughts and impressions on the very next show, which will be at what time tomorrow, Mr. Graham Day?
10 a.m. Ish. 10 a.m.-ish. Free hat days coming. It is. I want to give you a couple of reminders as well. We have a giveaway that ends at 8 o'clock tonight. So you have 6.5 hours or 6.5 hours. There we go. 6.5 hours to get involved in the giveaway if you haven't. Exclamation mark. Do you know what? I'll give you the link. Exclamation mark giveaway. Head to Twitter. I'm assuming you've all done it, but if you haven't, why? Just go to Twitter, retweet that tweet, follow us on Insert Coin. That's it. That's all you need to do. Go do it. Do it now. You could be in a chance of winning yourself a couple of prizes. Nice. As well as that, the loot drop is on Monday. We are not streaming on Monday. We are not streaming on Tuesday. Myself and Bibb are doing work things at a super undisclosed top secret location.
Yes, we are.
It's not as super top secret as it sounds, but you know, social media, you've got to make it sound bigger than it is because, you know, hype and that. But yeah, we're doing work stuff, so we're not going to be around on Monday and Tuesday, so there'll be no episodes of The Scoop for them, but we will still do the loot drop. So if you're a sub on Monday at 3 p.m, which is the cut-off time, we will export the names, we will take everyone down, and then we will announce either that evening, depending on how good the Wi-Fi is and stuff in the hotel that we're staying in, or the next day, or even Wednesday, depending on Wi-Fi again. But we will get the announcement out so you guys know who the winner of the loot drop is, and it could be a hat, could be a game, you choose. That's it for us, though. We are going to choose someone to raid. Stick around for the raid. We'll throw up the end slate and we'll see who is available. But from now until 6:30, have a good day. And stay frosty.